Modulation. Modulation. Hi, my name's Johnny, and today we are going to take a look at modulation effects for bass. What modulation is right for you, and which do you need on your pedal board? For those who are just stepping into the world of pedals, it can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming with the huge amount of brands, versions of pedals, different types of pedals, all different effects and different companies, and it's a bloody nightmare. So I thought I'd make a video just based on the different types of modulation that you can get, perhaps some of its uses and what it's actually doing to the signal, so you can work out which one suits your needs the best. A disclaimer. Now, as you probably all know, I kind of pride myself on not being that technical, and so I am describing these effects in the way that I think you might understand, or the way that I understand it. If I get something a bit wink wonk or a bit not quite there, nearly there, let me know in the comment section below. But remember to be nice. Just be nice. Just be nice. Just be nice. Just be nice. A rule of life that I like to live by is, just be nice. So modulation, if you think of your sound wave, when you've got your tone, you've dialed it in, modulation is a way of modifying that signal so the waveform hits your ears in a different way. This can add a sense of movement, dimension and depth to the sound as the wavelengths are hitting your ears in different speeds and things like that. We've got a definition here, and it says a modulator is something that changes the original sound or signal over time. Makes sense. So I am going to be doing a little bit of a demo of each of these effects using the Line 6 HX Stomp. And now you don't often pair these modulation effects together just because the different wave formats it's doing can get a bit just a bit rubbish sounding, I think. Let me know if you like to combine some of these effects, but I'm not a big fan myself. Although I do like to combine them with a little bit of distortion sometimes. I've just got a Tube Screamer simulated pedal on the HX Stomp as well, so we're going to have a look at how these pair up with a bit of distortion as well, just for funsies. So let's start out with one which I think is super funky and really fun to use, which is a flanger. And it's the most fun to say, flanger, 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 flanger. So a flanger is a time-based modulation. So a flanger is when you mix the dry signal in with a slowed down version of that signal on top, and you can control the depth of which it does that and the different speeds and rates that it is doing that. When you start turning up the rates of this speed, it starts to get even weirder sounding and even more funky. It kind of adds this swaying kind of effect, and it's really cool, I think. Certainly on guitar as well, it's really fun for making lead lines really pop out in a mix. And that's what these modulation effects are really for, making this whole new different soundscape as it's hitting your ears. So closely related to flanger, I think, is chorus. These are the kind of two first types of modulation that I really started enjoying before delving in deeper into what you can do. So where flanger focuses on the speed of the sound wave duplicated above the dry signal, chorus is a pitch-based effect, which means that as well as the dry signal, it's mixing in with a slightly detuned version of that dry signal. It really does add a depth to the sound, fills it out a little bit sometimes. So some of these effects have the tendency to suck out some of the low end, so you've really got to be careful when you're adding in these effects. Now, chorus is a really 90s sounding effect. Nirvana, famous heavy users of chorus, really It's a really grungy sound, and paired up with distortion, beautiful. So now let's move on to vibrato. Now vibrato is actually quite similar to chorus in the fact that it is also a pitch altering effect. So again, you've got your dry signal, and above that, the modulated signal for vibrato is altering the actual pitch of the notes that you play. Bit like in classical music, like a trill, when you get beep, 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 up to a note and then back down to note. It's kind of doing that to your sound. Now vibrato is really commonly used in vocals when people sing, when they go up to higher notes and then they start like a wobbly kind of effect, you know. It's just a way of modulating the signal to go in and out of pitch like that. Kind of similar to chorus, but not really. Next one is tremolo. Now we've had some modulations that affect the speed. We've had some that affect the time. Tremolo affects the volume. Go in, out, and in, and out, and in, and out. Really gives you a swaying effect. And then you can affect the speed to go in and out, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out, like that. This effect is really nice sounding on things like chords, and for really chilled out stuff where it's kind of giving this swaying motion. It's not really handy for playing fast stuff. It doesn't pair up well with distortion. It's definitely a more subtle, vibey effect that adds to your sound and really adds the vibe. And that's what I love about these modulation effects. It really can change how you feel about a certain line that you're playing. And the last one we're getting onto is phaser. Now, a bit like tremolo that we just looked at, phaser is one that I think sounds better if you're playing something consistent as a solid sound wave, not no stops and breaks in the middle, because you don't really get that effect. Now, if you have a really extreme version of phaser, you might be able to achieve that, but I think it sounds best when you're doing consistent notes and with no breaks in the middle. Now, as the name might suggest, the phaser is modulating the phase of the signal mixed in with the original. If you think of like a low pass and a high pass filter where you're filtering out the highs and you're filtering out the lows, it's kind of swapping between those and giving you this wow, wow, wow kind of effect. It's also described as like your amp having a mouth or something like that. So it opens and closes like wah, wah, wah. I think that's the best way of describing it, right? You know, it's going through peaks and troughs of that frequency signal, going up, we're down, you know, so it's kind of mixing that in to give you this sense of movement within the signal. The frequencies are going in and out of phase to give you this kind of warbly, warped sound effect. So that is the kind of top 5 modulation effects. There are other effects, you know, that you can use on your pedal boards to get these kind of similar sounding things, like an envelope filter, and there's like delay and reverb and all sorts of different effects. Now, if you're just getting started with your own pedal board, click up in the cards and go and check out my other video on your top 5 pedals that you need for your pedal board. Click. If you want to see any more lists like this about the help videos, if you want to see any more list videos like this about different types of pedals and different effects, let me know in the comments section down below, as well as saying which of these modulations is your favourite. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll watch you next time. I'll see you next time.